What is up, all you gorgeous gamers and fools? Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. My name is Jake. This is my handsome co-host, Hunter. And as per usual, we start off these episodes reading comments from all of you amazing people who somehow watch us and can stand us weekly together. So mine is actually from a fellow Jake out there, and I appreciate all Jakes. Jake the Snake goes, Jake, you do an amazing job. Thanks for everything you do. And god dang, I can't say the word he actually said, is Warzone one of the most overrated games in history? That's a great future debate right there.
I'm actually going to rapid fire two. I'm going to break the rules a little bit because you chose a Jake-centric one, Jake and Jake. I'll say, of course, Hunter's anime t-shirts are fire. Where do you get them, King? Unsponsored, TeePublic. If you want to work with us, let us know.
Yeah,
the other one
6 shirts
is from Drayden, who says, I love the show with both of you in it. We appreciate that.
We very much appreciate all of you guys. Let's break down some of those spicy stories. Why don't we? Here we go. Lads, ladies, I've been waiting so long for the podcast this week to actually talk about this one. This being probably the dumbest scandal in Valorant history. That being a female lineup called the Besties, who were caught by Riot Games cheating, not just by one criteria, if that's the right word I want to use, but 5 different things they did got them caught by Riot Games. I wish we had, more channels to rant about these kind of stories, because we had a video on the channel, did fine. But this story to me is just, if it was any other team out there, any other esport, be freaking out just the same. These ladies, and notoriously one of their names is Wet Boozy.
Okay,
which
good.
is definitely off to a strong start. They were actually caught ringing for the VCT Game Changers Open qualifiers, and they were caught because it was actually the first 5 games. One member individually was doing pretty poorly. She had a negative 39 KD differential, and all of a sudden the next 3 games, that negative 39 KD differential person starts popping off and goes plus 44 over the next 3 games. Not only do they spot a difference in the ping to the servers, which means someone from a different location possibly playing, the straight up KD differential and the skill difference, playing different agents. They saw an unknown name in the pregame lobby, and very lastly, the cherry on top, they had a voice comms of one of the ladies asking in the lobby, what's the password? Which I can't imagine what we'd be asking passwords for in a pregame lobby.
It seems, first of all, my first suspicion started when their name was the Besties, which is just
suspicious name, man.
It's
like
I'm not
Save
so
the
sure
Kids
about that. Yeah, exactly. It's a little too good to be true, and it kind of makes the whole situation even more hilarious, I think, to me, because it's like the Besties are doing this, and the Besties were trying to get away with it. But it is interesting. They could have been smarter about it, I'll say. They could have maybe had the person come to their house, unless maybe they just panicked mid-match, mid-tourney or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, like you really need these wins all of a sudden?
Oh, no, I'm negative 39, was it?
Joey out.
Joey in Iowa, can you please play for me? And he's like, oh, yeah, bro, sure. Like, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't ask, like, what agents were you playing?
Right.
Like, should I be going hard?
Yeah.
And Joey just freaking snorting G Fuel just lines up and starts. That also, if that's not enough cherries on top, they didn't even qualify.
How many cherries are you going to add, man?
And I don't even like cherries. They didn't even qualify for VCT Game Changers. And this is a team that maybe would have qualified, and then what? Just would have been ragged on, because you can't use him or her, whoever your freaking 6-man ringer was, when you go to Game Changers. Or what if they would have been caught at Game Changers? Oh my, I mean, this is open qualifier, so you kind of expect some shady business, but the way that Riot Games caught them so many times, it's just, I mean, it blows my mind. They got a 12-year ban for just having the ringer. 12 years, I said, didn't I?
Yeah, it was
They're
12 months.
12 months. They got banned for a decade.
It's like, what?
They got banned for 12 months for using a ringer and an additional 6 months for just not cooperating.
Okay, so I had 2 questions for you. One that is not super related, but you said, I don't even like cherries, but you say your favorite seltzer flavor is cherry, which is interesting. So I'm not sure I believe.
Let's move on.
All the details here. The second one is, if you're one of these people, if you had gotten caught like this and you're banned not for 12 years, but for 12 months, what do you do at this point? Do you just give up the whole pro career?
Yeah.
Yeah? You just stop playing, new game?
We've covered quite a few Valorant scandals, and there have been a few from the male side that have been 12 months, and I got to imagine, and there's been, I think, some harsher sentences as well, but I got to imagine you don't come back. I mean, people will remember, and then in today and age, when you do come back, people are going to be like, wait, you're wet boozy.
Yeah,
Like,
I was really thinking that. Aren't you that one? You're one of the besties.
you're one of the besties.
Wet boozy. Oh, no.
Either way, I would say one of the dumbest scandals in Valorant history. It's been a great laugh, but best of luck to them in the future. And, if they do come back, we will gladly be covering them if we still have jobs. God bless.
Speaking of dumb moves, we had CLG make one of the dumbest moves I think people have seen in a long time, or at least it had some of the most backlash. Of course, I am wearing my Bud Light shirt specifically for this. And so if you didn't see, we made a video on it. CLG posted to their Twitter kind of a backstage private Bud Light moment, and it was their coach saying, hey, you guys are probably going to be fired, more or less. Like hey, the 5 of you aren't going to be playing together anymore. We've been doing awful.
I'm going to be kind of like upfront. I am looking at roster swaps. It's been a little over 2 months. We're not really progressing. So there's very likely going to be changes this week.
I didn't expect that. I honestly forgot that happened this week because each and every week we tell you guys it's just crazy moments here and there. And the saddest part about this is the most CLG has been in the news in probably years. And this definitely kind of caused an uproar, I think even more so because CLG has long been probably the most struggling roster in the LCS as an organization ever since acquired by Madison Square Garden. And I think if you make a mistake like this, that kind of just unleashes all of your previous non-successes. And so I think if this happened to a better team, you get away with it. And unfortunately in CLG, plus you add the fact that the freaking Bud Light mid-roll, like, hey, let's take a break from firing these guys and take a sip of Buddy Light.
I don't even think a better suited team would have gotten away with it. I think overall it was a bad move because no one wants to see that. I don't know. It was just such a weird moment to be posting to social media. And I understand in the background they're thinking, hey, we want to be transparent. Yeah. Obviously, we're not doing good. Our team has not been doing well. Yeah. And we want to be transparent with people who are sticking with us and our fans and say, yeah, roster changes are probably coming up. We don't want this to be a surprise and throw people off, so let's put it on social media. But when you're doing it in such a way, that it's on social media at the not suspense, I don't know the right word, but at the expense of your players.
Not suspense, expense.
At the expense of your players. I don't know the background of were they briefed about this? Did they give the thumbs up to it and say this is okay or not? Because I think that matters a whole lot to me. Yeah,
because clearly there were cameras in the room along with it. I do enjoy the transparency. And yeah, certainly no team should probably be doing it like this. It's just you got to think about how the players, and it is really important to the players know about this because obviously they went through shortly within a couple days, I believe they went through with roster changes, which to me I was almost thinking like,
hey man, you're fired. Roll the ad.
And they were so calm about it. So you don't know the full details and you're left just thinking, yeah, that was. I really want to know how that got cleared, how that got passed. These things don't just get posted. And even we know from the main account, you don't just post these things, especially something this serious. This goes through levels. And why did those levels think, yes?
This is our sponsored post for the month. It will be great. This is going to slap. Absolutely. We're soaked.
And it sure freaking did. I hope they got paid even though it got deleted. But everyone else out there, as we know, the internet, nothing ever gets deleted. CLG using a sponsored post and some good old alcohol to let some players go. What did y'all think about it? Well, the Warzone issues keep on happening. Speaking of one of our opening comments, that Warzone might go down as one of the most overrated games ever. I didn't say that. You guys did, all right? I don't want to piss any Warzone viewers off, but you guys are probably already pissed off with all of the countless issues this game has run into. We're probably going to have more stories next week with some news that has just been put out there about the issues continuing and an anti-cheat still not being there. I mean, I even want to stretch back to Z-Laner, Mutex, countless Warzone pros and streamers that have been frequently accused and have no full way of clearing themselves because there is no goddamn anti-cheat. Even that for a beginning discussion. It's just crazy. I can't imagine this in any other game. Like, think about CSGO or League of Legends. Still not having it, obviously been around for a lot longer, but not having an anti-cheat or a way to clear your players to the point where, especially Warzone being a heavy social media game, these guys are being blamed more than any other people in the gaming space.
It seems like hackers, cheaters are getting smarter, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And these big games
100%.
like Apex or Warzone that have massive lobbies and are free don't have a way to combat it, which is ruining the game at this point.
Yeah, and CSGO even joined that list because of not the Battle Royale aspect, although they do have one, if you guys remember it.
Supposedly.
But going free to play has certainly made some huge issues for the general matchmaking of the game. And I think that's a great future talking point. Yes, hackers and cheaters and scammers, they've aged and they've definitely evolved faster than the gaming space probably has in terms of combating it. And then on to the main topic, of course, Nickmercs, you have your biggest face of Warzone, likely on Twitch. He gets hacked live with one of these glitches, or what they're calling the level 1000 hack, where you kill someone with this glitch or hack, and all of a sudden you've unlocked everything on your account. It seems that's now been fixed, but he reacted live to it. And this happening to your biggest face, like you think about, XQC experiencing a GTA glitch, or Ninja back in the Fortnite days having issues, it's not necessarily a good look when your biggest person is live undergoing these things.
I have 2 points, I think. One that I brought up in another segment for another part that we recorded, saying that that was so bad. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay, man.
But that it reminds me of Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, when you would just end up in a lobby and you would immediately get max rank, all the max everything. People would be flying around, and it was like, this is kind of awesome, but kind of terrifying at the same time. I might get banned. I don't know what's going to happen to my account.
Like, you guys are sending me friend requests. Like, you're really nice for giving me max prestige, but I don't trust whoever you are.
Right. And so then my other point is, think about how much this has skyrocketed. And I think that's why Warzone is having such a big problem with it, is because you have all these big streamers who rely on Warzone. And now they have these hackers in their lobbies that thousands of people see every day on their streams. And so Lil Jimmy sees this guy give Nickmercs all this stuff, all these guns, all these levels. And Jimmy says, wow, that's cool. Let's go Google this and find the website and buy these hacks.
Or, have this done to me, which, who knows? You're a little Jimmy. You're not a big name like Nickmercs.
Right.
That stuff could maybe get you in trouble as compared to someone like Nickmercs. But, yeah, it's definitely very interesting. I thought you were going to go even more so to the point where this game supports so many livelihoods. And although there's so many complaints out there, you can't expect someone to give up a week of their job for, like, if you came to work and you started bothering me all the time, but I'm still getting paid, like, I got to work, like, I can't let you be the reason I get out of here.
Yeah, but man, the hackers have families too, okay? They're selling their hacks.
Oh,
they
God.
need all their 10 cars, and they are making bank. So
Oh, my God.
it's weird that we live in a time, I guess, where this game not only provides livelihoods for the people playing it, streamers, pro competitors, but also for hackers that are selling cheats and hacks in the game, and they make lives off of it too in a weird, wacky way.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why we love Activision. They're supporting both the good and the bad guys out there. Wow.
That's great guys.
We love Warzone, the most underrated game ever. What do y'all think, though? The Warzone issues do continue, and I'm sure we'll be back here next week to talk about a different one. I will luckily keep this one short because it's been an ongoing topic and will be for future podcasts and videos as well. That being update for the FaZe/SaveTheKids scandal and scam. OrdinaryGamers as well as CoffeeZilla now posting further videos, I would say exposing K. And so to give you guys a short TLDR, CoffeeZilla, his secondary video was pretty much he has now been given a cease and desist from Mr. Frazier or K himself and threatened to actually sue him. Despite his investigation into all the wrongdoings, he then read out the cease and desist letter, which he called toilet paper. And then, in that same video where he was told to retract all of his statements, he further exposed K for a different pump and dump scandal. OrdinaryGamers goes on to further expose K as well of alleged giveaway fraud for all of these cryptocurrency pump and dumps. And a lot more details have been unraveled. Someone like FaZe Tico has looked pretty innocent in all of this. FaZe Banks has his own accusations, which apparently FaZe Clan as well as FaZe Banks are open to further investigation. And then I would say what I wanted to touch on most was it's now a former FaZe Clan senior talent manager known as Jordan Galen who has been accused of possibly being behind the reason that these guys, the FaZe guys, had these deals in the first place. He ironically is no longer with FaZe Clan as of July when all of this stuff started surfacing.
Kay just needs to put the shovel away and stop digging because his hole is getting deeper and deeper, I feel like. If he had just left it where it started, not sent like a cease and desist and not egg these guys on, you probably would have been in a better spot at this point. Though maybe they would have kept looking anyways and found it no matter what.
The worst apology video I have ever seen, and we've seen a lot of them.
Right. A lot of apology videos have been bad, and I don't even know if apology video is the right term for it.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't apologize.
He didn't apologize.
The worst I'm upset video that I've ever seen, especially after a scandal where it's been so clear, the evidence that's been put out there publicly that's against you. It's amazing that was his choice of like, hey, man, guys, I lost money, and I'm really upset that you guys got screwed too.
And I am curious about this manager. You said it's a manager?
Yes.
Or former manager. Is interesting to me because I'm curious what someone like that got out of all of it. And obviously this person was likely manipulating creators to get these deals, and he was getting a large chunk of it, would be what I assume. And so I'm curious what's going to turn up with that.
Yeah, I think the belief here is he was more closely tied to the brothers, that being Kay and Jarvis, but especially Kay. And so presumably what is being alleged, what is possibly unraveling right now, why FaZe Clan let him go, is because he brought the initial deal to someone like Kay. Kay brought in other members. And so is he the potential fall guy or the one who manipulated all the trust? There's also the mention of someone like Sam Pepper who could also be tied. So I imagine he's been giving deals to guys for quite some time, getting scrapes off the top. And then evidently he's been doing some scummy deals for quite some time. And now it's all come to the surface.
And if it's a manager, I think it's easy, for me at least, this might be completely wrong. It's easy to say, oh, these creators were doing it and involved in it. FaZe Clan just needs to cut loose these people and move on and clear their name through that. But when it becomes someone in a management position, it gets even weirder for me.
Yeah.
Than just a content creator doing it. I don't know.
At face value, that's where it gets a bit hairy because this is also someone who potentially crypto wallet history had shown a potential deal with FaZe Banks, and that's where the suspicion came from. Okay, if you're working with FaZe Banks, then you're clearly a pretty high up manager working with deep ties in FaZe. But Banks did refute that by saying, I'm open to investigation, because even he was like, okay, that does look a bit hairy, but I'm open to you guys further investigating all of this. So that was a pretty solid response there on that end. Obviously, the two most heavily implicated people, that being former FaZe K and this talent manager, have been let go. And now it's on to the next steps of, do we unsuspend those three other members, and what happens with FaZe Banks, and what happens overall with FaZe Clan, who, by the way, has apparently had some big deals in the works, which have probably not been doing too well after all of this stuff has gone viral as well.
I'm interested, even if, because if it comes back and FaZe itself is cleared from it, that there wasn't anything past, just a manager and maybe Kay, maybe a couple other guys who did this bad thing, then I think it's salvageable brand-wise. Of course, FaZe is always a valuable brand, but in terms of sponsorships, there are definitely going to be some who don't even care about what the results of this investigation is. This is enough negative press that they're going to pull out their sponsorships.
Maybe. I guess we just never know in this space, because someone like FaZe has gotten away with things in the past. So you just never really know at this point, but FaZe Clan apparently opened to further investigation, and apparently it was a former manager who also could be tied behind all of the scandals.
We have some drama that's been unfolding recently, actually very recently. As of recording, it was just yesterday, and he is now on the LEC broadcast. That is the boss being on the broadcast, and a lot of drama was stirred up. I do, if it's okay with you, actually want to read two tweets. I know we don't normally do that on here, but the first one being Promise Q, who said, what a slap in the face to any upcoming and aspiring caster or analyst to invite a Twitch streamer that has zero competitive experience to analyze games on the LEC. So that kind of kickstarted everything. I Will Dominate responded to it. A ton of people responded to it.
Do you want to give the viewers a bit of context about exactly the boss, what's going on here, why Promise Q made that tweet in the first place?
So basically, the boss was being brought on to the LEC broadcast just as the third person for the weekend. He's going to be on there with Kadril, with Shox, and I think Daniel Dracos, and all together, they're going to be there for the weekend. It's not like he's there permanently. It's just, hey, let's bring this guy in. He's a top laner. He is well known in the Twitch sphere, has competed before, all that good stuff. Let's bring him in. It'll bring some entertainment value, right? And so then people get upset and saying, oh, he's taking away all these opportunities from other people that have been working so hard and trying to get it, which is ironic. I don't want to get too long-winded here because in their announcement of him, they also announced 2 other people who are smaller in the scene that they're giving these opportunities to at the same time. And so the one other tweet I want is the one I think I agree with the most, and that is Foxdrop saying, as someone who stands to lose out with the LEC bringing in personalities or streamers over aspiring casters, esports is all about the audience. Does adding the boss stand to benefit the audience? Yes. Is it deeper than that? No. It's a one-off. Let people have some fun. I think I respected that a lot, and I agreed with him on that point.
Yeah, I mean, from my outside knowledge of this, it just seems like you're bringing on a creator, a face that definitely can bring some entertainment value and a new twist to the broadcast. I think for the most part, what was the LEC broadcast team response on this? They were approving of it,
very
of course.
Positive of it. And I mean, Cadril plays with him all the time, has some YouTube series with them, and so he is friends with them, which people were kind of weirded out by. But at the same time, if you know you get along with this person and you're part of the broadcast team, why wouldn't you bring them on?
And I'm not to say that this is a direct comparison, but if you were to bring on someone like Dom or someone like Tyler One to the NA broadcast, I don't think that would be met with flack. Now, Dom is different because he has a bit more past experience, at least with play, but Tyler One is still obviously well known and still a very, very good player. And maybe that's not the best comparison for someone like the boss, but I don't see any flack coming their way because those are 2 very, very well-known figures that can add not only viewership, but definitely a good entertainment twist to a broadcast. And most importantly, for me, it's a one-off. Like you said, it's not a permanent job to be taken. So why would you not try these new things? This is why the LEC is as good as they are, because they're willing to try these kind of things.
And just bring something else that's entertaining. People were comparing Dom a lot because he was so outspoken about it, and because he does stuff with the LPL, has been on broadcast before, so obviously people were coming after him and saying this is the same thing, and he had his own rebuttals. You can watch the video that will be out by the time this comes out. And so it's just interesting that so many people were so bothered by it. He's not as well spoken as the professional casters. Yes, he does not know as much as they do. That's their full-time job, but it gives a little bit of an added entertainment. Oh, a new face.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a guy who knows them from solo queue. Like he was talking about, I watched the first 5 minutes, and he was like, oh yeah, I played against this guy in top lane solo queue the other day. This is how he plays when I play him in solo queue. And so it's just interesting.
Yeah, I just and I know people love to be pissed off about things.
Yeah.
And there are definitely some good reasons and some not so good reasons to maybe be a bit upset here, but it's also ironic because if you guys watch the mainstream news, this is the same time around where the UFC had Addison Rae as an interviewer.
Yeah.
As likely a one-off, but the whole internet tore her to shreds because she tweeted how she went to journalism school for 3 months and somehow landed a gig with the UFC. People tore her to bits, and to my knowledge, the boss has just been he hasn't said anything arrogant, anything wrong in the situation in terms of a cocky nature. He's just come on.
Yeah, he's just a big meme, pretty much. And he's joking around and calling people clowns about it. And so that's actually a good comparison with Addison Rae. I think that makes a lot of sense to say.
Thank you, man.
It's they're just bringing in a well-known face, another person, and UFC had every right to do that. Why would you choose someone with no following versus Addison Rae to do it? Because that's going to bring more people, or just more is that Addison Rae?
The boss?
Right.
Addison Rae?
Is that the boss sitting on the
Yes.
couch? And so I think it makes sense.
It's UFC's call or it's LEC's call at the end of the day. And, if anything, they stirred some controversy, which probably leads to a bit more of a benefit for them overall. And it's a one-off. So we'll see how he does, and best of luck to him. What do y'all think about the LEC's call for a little bit of new talent on the lineup? Usual homies, we hope you guys all enjoy the Esports Rewind podcast. We'll catch you back here next week, same time, same day. All right? You want to say goodbye to the peeps?
Absolutely, peeps. We love you, or like you a lot.
Love's a strong word.
See you guys later.
See you guys later.